Testing 1, 2. Alright, we are here with Rob from Total Chaos. I met you a long time ago in the 80s.
Yep.
In Hollywood, when you were a squatter and you were with other punk rockers, and you had a black guy. What was it like being what was punk rock like in the 80s? Because everybody hated punk rock.
It was a difficult time, since because we were from the 80s as well. Punks were hated by not just the police and the state, hated by jocks, rednecks, skinheads, not traditional skins, but Nazi skins, or should I call them Nazi boneheads. And we were completely under threat at all times. Sometimes even gangbangers didn't like us, because sometimes they didn't know the difference between skinheads and punks, and they just jumped us because they thought we were skinheads. And that happened to us many of times.
This was in the 80s when we were in high school. Now, let's go to the 90s. It was crazy because one time, I think it was 1990, I followed you. I went in your van to go to Gilman when you guys were doing a show with Media Children. Yeah. Back then, there was no internet, no camera. It was fucking total chaos. We were driving, and we were late to Gilman's show, and I was going to meet Media Children there. And I think it was Joe Bass or somebody who refused to pull over, and everybody had to take a piss, and you guys opened the van while on the freeway and taking a piss, and all the cars were moving. That was crazy times.
Probably. It was probably my old white van, white Dodge.
I mean, if there was camera right now, technology, we would all get in trouble. And once the van door opened, all the cars were moving. I'm not going to mention who, but the members of Total Chaos were just taking a piss. That was crazy. Then, do you remember when we were getting off the freeway, making a turn, the van almost fucking flipped over?
That was the 10-year from
I don't know who was
driving. That magazine.
I forgot, man. It was so long time ago. Yes.
He was driving.
And then I came back with Media Children because you guys were so crazy. So
10-year was driving because he was drunk off his ass, and he was driving my van, and he almost trashed my van.
Yes. So that was, and Gilman Street. If there was Gilman Street like down in South of California and LA, it would have got shut down.
Yeah, probably.
It would not last long. Till this day, why is LA punk scene so crazy?
I don't know. It's always been a crazy scene, since the 80s, you remember? It was like the wildest punk scene in the world. Actually, anybody will say it. Even Exploited will say it. I wish we were with Exploited right now. They'll say the LA scene was the craziest punk scene in the whole world.
Yeah, before we start this interview, we're going to talk about the old days some more. I don't know if you remember this. It was a Taco Bell parking lot.
Yep.
Chad got punched by this gangster in the mouth. And then I was calling Joe. I was going, Joe, Rob. Because the gangster just came out and punched him in the face. His lip was bleeding. And you guys were pulling out hockey sticks. And those gangsters was pulling out baseball bats. And you guys had all these weapons in the back of the van. And I was going,
well,
oh my gosh.
In the 80s and early 90s, you needed to have a weapon. Unless you wanted to get your ass kicked, you needed a weapon.
And then I had to think something really fast, and I yelled out. There was no cops. I would say, "The cops are coming!" And all the gangsters ran. Like they got so scared, they just ran in the car with the baseball.
I remember that.
Boom! Just took
off. I remember
off.
That was a weird time.
Another thing, before the interview, another old story. San Diego. You guys played in San Diego. Open up for Broken Bones.
Right.
There was before you guys go on, there was some skinheads. There was a bunch of crowd of skinhead, big, tough guys. They were sig howling. Then you guys were on stage, and you were on stage while those skinheads were there. You kept going, this next song is Kill the Nazi. This next song is, I was going, what the fuck? We're gonna get killed. Then you stood your ground in the backstage, and you were arguing with them. Do you remember that in San Diego? And I took a picture of it.
This scenario has happened so many times on tour. It's like hard to explain. I don't remember that one because it happened so many times. Almost the same scenario where all these Nazis come and Zeke Highland and calling me names and stuff and threatening to kill me over and over again. Actually, if you remember, I was in the hospital in '93 when I got stabbed by Nazis.
I wasn't there, but you got stabbed.
Yeah, I got stabbed. They beat me down. 12 guys against one guy. They're real tough.
Yeah.
And they stabbed me in the back, and I was in the hospital for a while. So this has happened too many times for me.
You gotta face the camera.
This has happened to me too many times for me to remember one particular scenario, but yes.
But you always stood your ground, but you said some crazy stuff on stage, straight out. This is called kill the Nazi and kill him with the fork. I don't know, was you or Gary or something saying crazy? So we kill him with the fork, kill him with the spoon, whatever you find, we kill him. And I was going, fuck, do they know there's like a bunch of them, like really tough guys?
I don't remember that part, but I do. Anything is possible, believe me.
And then back that time, it was so hard, like playing at parties. You guys used to play with media children and everything, and like even media children, when they talk about against homophobia, fucking they always throw beer bottles on the face, and guitars for media children. I remember he cut his skin. It was that tough. Okay, we're still doing like memories before the interview, talking about the old days, just to see how crazy it was. But here's a really interesting. It was at the Scream Club. We couldn't play at the Scream Club. Something happened. Then you guys plug everything. We drove to the gas station, and you guys plug in everything and start playing in the gas station. Back of the gas station.
That was going to the Scream Club. That was you remember we had a you guys rented out a rehearsal hall, and the cops came. It was in OC somewhere, and then the owner of the rehearsal hall kicked us all out. So we said, dude, Joe's like, dude, we're gonna do this show no matter what. Joe Baster, and we're like, and so everybody followed us in cars to wherever. We try to find someone while we're calling. Because back then we didn't have mobile phones, so we were calling people, and then it said, fuck it, we're going to set up behind this gas station. So we tested the plug behind it, and it lit up. So we're like, fuck yeah, well, let's plug in back here. So we set up all of our gear, and we had a party behind a closed gas station. And then the cops came after like 4 or 5 songs, and there was like 40 or 80 people there, and the cops came, and they were going to arrest us all. Remember that? They confiscated our equipment. And that was the biggest memory for almost all those kids for Total Chaos. They're like, Total Chaos really is Total Chaos.
Even the show was Total Chaos. Some of the stuff, I cannot talk about it in the interview, but all I'm going to say, because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, it was fucking Total Chaos. Okay, let's start the interview now. You play with so many bands. We're going to start this interview fun. So, the bands you play with, I want you to tell me like either funny memory or good memory, okay? I'm going to mention the band because you toured so much. Okay, let's start with Us Rotten.
I mean, we played with them a few times.
Any funny stories or fun?
Well, I remember we were talking a long time ago.
You can play with them a few times.
Yeah, but I mean, the last time I remember playing with Osrodden was in Erie, Pennsylvania. Oh yeah, we stayed at someone's house with Erie, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we stayed at someone's house in Erie, Pennsylvania, and in Pennsylvania at this time, it was in the mid-90s. You can only get beer at certain places. You couldn't just go to the gas station to get beer. So all the beer stores were closed and stuff. So we had to like hustle around to find if we can get some beer. So one of the guys went to a bar and bought a bunch of beer, and we went to a house and drank a bunch of beer and got crazy and threw firecrackers off the roof, and the cops came. Some weird shit like that. But I mean, that's the most craziest memory I have with Osrodden. But I remember Osrodden was like, "You're going to be the next Exploited," from like Profane Existence said that they're going to be the next Exploited, and then they broke up a year later. I was like, "Wow, dude, you guys just broke up. Why?" And like, I thought you were going to be the next Exploited, and it didn't happen apparently. I mean, it was just really unusual times back then, but they were good guys. I loved them, and they were a great band. A lot of people call them a crust band, but they weren't really a crust band. They were like us, street punk, pretty much. I don't know why people call them crust. Whatever.
Anti-Flag.
We played with them a few times. I mean, they're nice guys, you know. We played a lot of festivals with them, but I don't.
Really hang out with them.
Then we hung out with them, but they don't really do anything, dude. To be honest, dude, there's nothing crazy.
Okay, we got it to be short because we have a lot of bands to mention.
Okay.
GBH.
No, GBH is badass. Now, we've had many of tours with them, and I've had amazing times with those guys. From the craziest moments, for even the Nazis threatening to kick our asses, and they were defending us, and to lots of really strange stuff. I don't even know if I can say what some of the stuff that's happened.
Okay.
But like we've a lot of really fun partying we've done with the GBH guys.
Subhumans and Cockney Rejects.
Subhumans, you already know we toured with them a bunch of times. In fact, the drummer Trotsky lives like 20 minutes away from my house in Bremen, Germany. They're amazing dudes. They're easy to get along with. They like to drink a lot. But they're the most like unselfish people you can ever meet. I don't even know how to describe them. Unlike any band you'll ever know.
All right, I posted some.
Cockney Rejects, well, they're cool, but I mean they're great guys, but I don't know anything more than that because we only did a few gigs with them.
Okay, I posted. I posted on Facebook about that I was going to interview you. So these are some questions that people ask. Okay.
Yeah.
So try to make it short because there's going to be a lot. Okay, from Itana Decontrol. In what ways have you seen the punk scene change over the years?
It's changed drastically. When I got in the punk scene in the mid '80s, it was like we were fighting against everybody, the cops, the system. I mean, literally fighting, not saying, "Oh, I fucked the police" or any of that stuff. Literally getting your ass kicked by the police every day. Brutally beaten down. Rednecks running by and saying, "Fuck you, faggot," calling you names like this. This stuff's not happening anymore. At least not so much. And so the difference of the hardness of the person is obviously dropped. The kids nowadays are not as hard as we had to be because we had to have skins of leather to be able to defend ourselves against all the onslaught of hatred to punks. And the kids nowadays, they don't really have that, but I still nurture them, and the good thing is, back then, when the new kids came into the scene in the 80s and early 90s, the punks rejected them and called them diaper punks and little kids. I don't do that. I do exact opposite. I pull them in and I hopefully teach them and to go the right way, but who knows, you know what I mean?
From Keezer So's, I think he's from Bakersfield. No disrespect, but why doesn't Total Chaos use their platform and big fan base to reach people with more songs about positive change, productive resource, animal rights, women's rights, political prisoners, ways to help subjects that really need to be touched down on immediately versus punk fashion?
We don't sing anything about punk fashion, so obviously this guy doesn't listen to anything we sing about. Sorry, guy, but all I sing about is politics. So you haven't listened to one lyric that I've ever sing, because we don't sing about punk fashion. We have one or two songs out of 200 songs about maybe partying and drinking. Most of my songs are about direct political contact, direct action against the government, anti-police. Oh, we're not against the police, but my main goal is as an anarchist is to be free against this government and the social system and the monetary system that is controlling you as a slave. Now, everything he said other than that is totally, he didn't listen to anything I've ever said. So he's obviously never read one lyric that I talk about, because if he did, he would know that I already sing about all this stuff.
You're also a vegetarian.
I am mostly a vegetarian.
You used to do an anti-say animal rights cover song, remember?
Yeah. I was a hardcore vegetarian for many years, but I've fallen off the wagon a few times, but I've never went fully blown eating meat, that's for sure. But I can't say that because I've eaten fish and stuff. I can't say I'm a full-blown vegetarian because I have. I don't do it all the time, but I have.
Okay, we gotta make this short. We have 5 more minutes. Okay, Robert, who used to sing for Holocaust. I'm sorry, Matt, who was in Dystopia Mine Rot. He's in Kicker now. Please tell about your memories from the Hart Park riot in Orange. You remember that benefit for Native Americans?
Awesome.
Native Americans.
Yeah.
What's your memory from that riot?
Well, the main thing is, remember, we got the police came on stage in the middle of our set and shut the power off. Bam! And Joe Bastard, our old bass player, went right back there and says, "Don't you shut our power off?" And he got in that fight with the cops. And then next thing you know, it turned into a full-blown riot, if you remember.
And all the bottles were throwing, and they were using Joe as a shield.
Yes, the cops were. Everybody's trying to get Joe back. They're like grabbing Joe, and the cops were beating us with batons, and the crowd was trying to get our bass player back. You know what I mean? But they arrested him for inciting a riot and resisting arrest and all this other crap.
Thomas Diard, is a circle a symbol in your band logo? Ironic, since it's historically understood to be mean anarchy is order, not chaos. Are you an anarchist?
I am an anarchist. I am 100% an anarchist. I believe that people don't need a government whatsoever, and that people should be able to work together. And people say, "Oh, you need the government to tax people so they can build the roads and this." But I find that this is total bullshit, because actually, if you work together in local communities, you can do this stuff. You can have outsourcing and private businesses. They build their own enterprises and work together. I'm not talking about anarchists running around smashing cars and all this stuff. I'm talking about community anarchists, almost like Native Americans did. It's not like this guy wears all black and smashes up stuff and spray paints anarchist. That's not anarchist. That's just stupid. You know what I mean? I'm talking about being being cool to people and working together with people, but without government. You know what I mean? Okay. It's very complicated. And forget about this monetary system using maybe gold, silver, or trade. Like a lot of Native Americans did, build furniture and trade for farming goods and stuff. So we trade together and make our own community. Somebody builds roads. It's a good job at it. You pay him with something that you're trading with, or gold or silver, like the old monetary system, but not this fiat crap that you call the American dollar or pound or euro. This is nothing. This is paper, toilet paper, actually.
Okay, we got 2 minutes.
Sorry, I have to cut everything short.
Robert, who used to sing for Holocaust, will Total Chaos ever play a gig doing entire Pledge of Defiance album?
We've talked about that.
Did you do that?
I hope so. Maybe someday. We were talking about trying to get Joe to come back, but it's difficult because, Joe's position in life these days. So we're not sure. Maybe, maybe. I figure if we're going to do all a pledge, we have to have Joe Bastard playing bass. You know what I mean? I'm
not going to say anything, but Joe belongs to a very powerful organization. That's all I'm going to say. And we're going to end it there. I'm not going to get into it, but very,
Joe's
very powerful.
political position is a little bit difficult.
You don't want to know. Okay. How are we doing in time? When you guys started, you had that fucking distorter sound, the heavy distorted sound. It was under the scalpel blade, really, really heavy.
Yeah, well, there's a simple reason behind that.
Yes.
We didn't know how to play.
Oh, so you just turn up your amp and distort.
We were kids. We got together. We were 17, 18, 19-year-old kids. We didn't know how to play. We just did whatever we could to make it happen. We started getting more established, and the more good we got our musicians, the less we dropped the distortion until you could actually understand what we were playing. But in the old days, we played with mass distortion to cover up all the mistakes we were doing on stage. And that was basically it. But you know what? You could talk to almost all the UK bands that did the same, even KSK or Disorder or any of those bands that did the same thing. It was for the exact same reason. It wasn't coincidence. It was just they couldn't. You know, it couldn't figure out the instruments.
5 seconds. Is there anything you want to say?
I love this guy.